Alright, this is a tutorial on how to track the Ididarod on Google Earth. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to where places are, and I'm going to create a folder that says Ididarod. So I'm going to right click and add a folder and give it a name. And it's going to put it right under my places, which is where I want it. And now when I do the searches and add my place markers, I'm going to place them in this folder. So the first one I'm going to do is Anchorage, and I'm going to click on search. And before I put my pin, I am going to zoom in a little bit by double clicking so that my pin has the view that I want. And I think that was a little too zoomed in. So if you come over here, then it reveals these controls, and if you hit the minus, it'll put you out a little bit farther. There we go. Okay. So, and then likewise, you can put the plus, and there we go. Now I'm going to click on the pin. When this box is up, you can move your pin around wherever you want. You can even still zoom in more if you wanted a closer view, or you wanted to get more specific about where you're putting your place marker. So I'm going to put my place marker right here, and I'm going to name it and I think I'm going to say start of the race. Actually, I'm going to say Anchorage. You can do whatever you like, and then here I'm going to put the start of the race. And if you want, you can add a link, you can add an image, you can change the color and style of your label. You can change the view, although I think it's easier to do by double clicking. And then when you're done, you say OK, and your place marker is there. And if you look, this went right into that folder, and I can tell because it's nested. So I have my places, and then under the folder of Ididarod, I have Anchorage, Alaska. This will make it easier for me to do a tour from point to point. Remember that if you want to edit a place marker, you just right click on top of it and go to properties. And if you click the pin, then you can change the color of the pin or the style of the pin to anything you like. So I think I'll change this one to blue right now, just for the heck of it. There we go. And then click OK. I'm going to add a few more. I think Willow is the next spot. I'm going to click on search, and again, before I do the place marker, I want to kind of zoom in or out and get the view the way I want it. And then I can click on the pin. It's already set to the blue, it knows that. Remember that when it's blinking, that's when I can move it around. Be more specific, you can zoom in or zoom out. And I'm going to Alaska. This is the first checkpoint. Okay. I think I will, I can't remember the. So you can add pins in this way. Let's see, I'm going to, alright, I'm going to add one more up here. Let's see, it's Yent. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There we go. I went a little too far, but you can see how that goes. If you want to be more specific, there are maps that on the Ididarod site that will show you. For example, I think that they are on the left side of the river in Yetna. So that's where I'm going to put my place marker. And again, I'm going to play around a little bit so that I can zoom in and get it kind of where I want. You can just move. If you just hold down the mouse and on the and click, you can move things around. So I think there we go. Okay. Now that I have, so if I look in my folder now, and I'm just going to move this up here so that I can see it a little bit better. I now have 3 places in my Ididarod folder. So at this point I can do a couple of things. So the first thing that I can do is click on the folder, and then down here this is the play button. This is the simplest way to do it, and it will go from your from the first item in the folder to the next one and the next one. You can move these around, so if they you know, if you get the order wrong or you miss one, not a big deal. You can you could get all the place markers put in place if you wanted, and then just track where your actual couple of mushers are. That would work really well too. So from here, what I can do now, if I click on the Ididarod folder, is I can click the play button, and you can see down here that it's starting to play, and it's going to go to Anchorage. And the things that I noticed as I was doing this was sort of the land, and do you think they're going in a straight line? How are they going? For example, they went around that body of water to get to Willow. They did not go in a straight line. And it will just go from place marker to place marker in this way. You could create a tour, a line, so it's called a path. So another option, if you wanted to be more specific, I think that this is a good basic option. But if you wanted it to be just a little more specific, you can actually create the path. So to create a path, I am going to zoom in a little bit. So for example, I know that the path goes from Anchorage and goes around this body of water to get to Willow. And so I can click on the path. And the only tricky part about this is, oops, you got to end your tour. I'm sorry, I'm still in the tour. When you click on the path, you have to leave this open. So just like you can't move your place marker unless this dialog box is open, pop-up box, same thing for the path. And you'll notice that there is that square with the lines. And so what you can do from this point is you can actually draw a path that you want your tour to follow. And if you zoom in, you can really be very specific about this path, or you can be much more general like I did. You can continue your path. So I think it goes up, oops, over here, and then here, and name it. So I'm going to name it up here. And say OK. And it went into the Ididarod folder, which is fine. If you do a path, that's different than doing the folder. So the folder is the easy way. I click on the folder and then I play the tour down here. Okay. If you want to do a path and be really specific about where you think the mushers are going, and if you look at some of the Google Earth maps, you can kind of see some of the Ididarod maps, you can kind of see where the path is that they are going. Then you can create your own path like I did. And to play that path, once you click on it, you'll see down here, there's another, it's play tour, but it's the path that you picked. And so it does something similar, but not exactly. So what it does is it goes down and it's going to follow the path. And this is another interesting way of kind of doing it, because clearly this is not exactly the path that the mushers are going. So you can get as specific or general with this as you want. I'm going to pause the path, X out of it, and go back. There we go. Go back to this. Now, if you try a path and you don't like it, just like the place markers, if you click on them or if you right click and go to properties, you can edit them, and then you can also right click and just delete it. You can do that with any place marker or path that you create. So I think that the easiest way would be to put your places in your Ididarod folder and then go from place to place, simply playing a tour from the file, and it will go from the first to the second to the third. Please request me if you have any problems.